you bringing USF medicine to downtown Tampa. That is going to be huge. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for your visions on bringing professionals down to downtown Tampa, bringing retail. Thank you. It's very much what we need in downtown Tampa. Getting back to Ms. Patty's question, does your vision of Tampa help bring in careers, not jobs, careers for skilled laborers so that you can help other communities here in Tampa?
Better. Thank you for the nice comments, by the way. But it's sure better. If what we're doing in our downtown but small 40 acres, if all we do is benefit from that, well, we really haven't fulfilled our mission, have we? First of all, there is a significant multiplier effect. We see about $1 billion of economic activity coming about due to our development. There's significant multipliers effect of people who come here, new jobs that are created here, and they spend money on things, et cetera, at restaurants which employ people, and we could keep going like that. And important, speaking of Mosey, this may or may not have to do anything with Mosey. I've talked to several technology companies from around here who are big hirers, and we talked about how can we work together with the schools. They already do a lot of it. Is there a place in our community to have classrooms to put together the employers who need these skilled, high-paying jobs, technical jobs, with the universities where the kids, 50,000 kids at USF, 20,000 at University of Florida, 50,000 at UCF, et cetera, the University of Tampa. These kids need jobs. We just need to have a clearinghouse, a marketplace for them to get together with the employers. And we hope to have that opportunity in our district, which would be, directly, hopefully, generate economic activity and high-paying jobs and lower unemployment in this area, especially for young people.
Gary Dalton, thank you for an exciting summer. My 11-year-old loves hockey, and he's very upset that he didn't watch in 2004. I told him he was watching, he just didn't remember he was watching either. Any advice to the Rays on where they might put a new stadium, and would you encourage them to follow your example and not seek a taxpayer contribution?
Yes, I do have advice. If they get a new stadium, I very strongly encourage them that it be in the Tampa Bay area. This is a major league city. We do not want to lose Major League Baseball. Whether it's Tampa or St. Petersburg, Pinellas, I'm not getting involved in that. Let them take care of their own business. I have a lot of respect for the Rays. They do a great job. What they do on $70 million, how they compete with the top teams is quite amazing what they do.
Mr. Vinik, my name is Gregory Wilson, and first, thank you so much for being here. And I want to add that Jim Schimberg and Bill Wickett were just very gracious in helping us to acquire you here today. So thank you on this busy week for you. I like to often remind that we're a political club, so I try to dig up a political question. I want to revisit your shrewd observation about transit challenges and add to it the fact that, ripped from today's headlines are already calls for an audit associated with a referendum question that isn't even written yet. So it kind of underscores how important politics can be in this town. I was wondering what you thought your greatest political challenges were as you move forward with your development, and if you cared to venture who your greatest political challenges might be.
I'm going to turn the question around and talk about how supportive the mayor has been, how supportive Kevin Beckner has been, and the other county commissioners. The governor has been, other legislators in the area, Tom Lee, Richard Corcoran, Dana Young, et cetera. We have a lot to accomplish. We believe our motives are pure. We and Cascade are great partners. We really are more interested in long-term economic sustainability than making a bonanza. We're not going to make a ton of money off of this. We'll hopefully make reasonable returns. That would be just fine. But it's great. We have the opportunity to change a region for generations to come. And you wake up in the morning. That's something that gets me out of bed a lot earlier than I did a couple of years ago because I love working on it. What was the question again? I'll get back to it.
If not who, which I gather,
Oh.
what?
again, everybody's been supportive, and it's important for us. We try to be reasonable with our asks. In 2010, it wasn't the right thing to do to go ask the county for money for our building. Times were really tough here. So we think if we're reasonable with our asks, and the community sees it as an investment, and there will be a return on that investment, things probably will work out just fine. But we want to be respectful throughout.
Mr. Vinik, I'm Terrell Sessoms. I'm told I have to join, since I'm a guest, in order to ask a question. In listening to the conversation about a walkable community, the fastest growing segment of our demographic are folks over 65. You have plans for first-class, world-scale retirement facility down in your development. You could bring a lot of rich Yankees down who'd like to watch hockey. My real question, our new local papers, the Tampa Tribune is looking for a new headquarters facility. Are you reaching out and engaging in conversations with them? The Tampa Tribune Tower might be a real asset in your development.
Thank you. First part, I'll go on the second part. Tampa Tribune, our friends there, we've not had those kind of discussions with them. We're trying to stay focused on our 40 acres, or maybe slightly on the periphery of that if opportunities become available. But walkability, et cetera. But they are where they're located is obviously prime real estate, and related companies of Southeast Florida certainly noticed that and wants to put up a multi-family building there. So no, we haven't had discussions with them. We have discussions because they're a good client of ours, but we haven't had discussions on that. And the first part was, we see empty nesters are a great target, and we have great interest both in both in rental as well as condominiums. And diversity is critical to our district. And we just had a long conversation today about, you get millennials, but they generally move to the suburbs when they have kids. Well, is that necessary? How are the schools in your downtown? Well, in the actual Channel district, in Channelside, where the 3,000 units are, there's actually a very good preschool over there. And then just north of our area, just on the other side of the crosstown, there's a very good K-8 school, I've still only been here 5 years. So the three demographics we're going after are millennials, families, and empty nesters, which is everybody.
All right, just a reminder, we got about 10 minutes left, so again, try to keep your questions concise.
Hi, Shirley Arcuri. From what little I know about urban planning, which isn't much, but one of the tenets is that a city which has significant water exposure should not wall off their water by putting bulky buildings and high-rises. And I have seen the city of Tampa violate that for decades, but now I see 2 high-rises proposed for the river over on Channelside. What is your take on that?
Oh, that's on the port plan?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is that still on?
Just slide it up, yeah.
Yeah. The port plan, I'll let it speak for itself, but you certainly don't want a wall of buildings right on the water side. A building or two, might be, if I could just get some water, please. A building or two may be just fine, but like Okeechobee Park, we're keeping that wide open. We're going to program that. That's, thank you. It is a good tenant. Okeechobee Park, we're going to activate that, as I talked about, morning yoga and splash park for kids and a place to get a drink, sit along the water. So I certainly agree with the tenet of your question about keeping the direct connection for people with the water. Certainly something that in general we should achieve. The port plan also has some beautiful green space, some beautiful park that borders very close to the water also.
Hi, I'm Lisa Reeves, and you kind of touched on one of my questions, which is, over the last couple of years, I've watched the real estate double and triple in the Channelside area. And you mentioned you're looking for millennials and families, but are you going to be doing anything to make sure that this is affordable, not just for the upper half, but the median income and the 80% of median income, because they're the ones that are coming in and working in the area, but we're pushing them off and off and off, farther and farther.
Yeah, good question, and the answer is yes, we're going to have different price points for different people. Diversity. We need young kids who are 23 right out of school. We need 35-year-olds who may even have a little child and want some more space. We need place for empty nesters. So diversity is very important in all ways. So yes.
It's a really good segue to my question. Hi, Mr. Vinik. My name is Layla Abdelaziz, and so I'm very involved in my community and my city. I work for a civil rights, civil liberties nonprofit organization, and anything that I do, I try to approach it exactly the way you said, engaging all stakeholders. There are serious policy issues that lead to political issues in this county, such as the fact that we have the second highest rate of wage theft in the state. Hillsborough County is only ahead of 3% of all other counties in the country concerning income mobility for poor children in this county. We have, the reality is in East and West Tampa, there are serious concerns from low income and people of color communities. And this TBX issue speaks directly to those concerns. And to be very honest, I don't think that you've answered the TBX question yet. These communities, the low-income communities, the people of color communities, are going to be the communities most impacted by the TBX project, which was drafted 20 years ago, and it's going to go in and destroy these people's neighborhoods and destroy the local business. My question is, are you aware of the concerns that people of color have in the city about your development plan, about the direction the city is moving in, about the fact that they feel like they're being pushed into the county to create, I mean, you're talking about yoga and streetcars, and that doesn't help low-income people that live in the city. Are you aware of these concerns, and if you are, how do you plan to address them?
Talking about Science Museum and other things also, which I do hope helps everybody. Yes, but yeah, I'm going to ask you a question back, okay? Put yourself in my position. We are very excited to work on this. We, with Cascade, work on a $1 to $2 billion development, right? We think not only will it directly benefit downtown, we think the economic ramifications, the branding it does for this whole region, nationwide and worldwide, we think this rising tide will lift all boats of this area and be a major benefit to this area. So just, if you would agree with that premise. So we need broad we need broad support in general to do this, and we need to listen and talk to people. But if you were me, would you come out strongly on political questions and voice strong opinions? These are very important questions you bring up. I have some opinions on them. My wife and I, we try the lightning. I think we're very philanthropic, my wife and I are. We try to do our best. But if we were to wade in this too deeply, we would end up in this discussion too deep, and we'd have people who would love us, people who would hate us, but it would take the focus off of what we're trying to do, which is lift the tide for everybody in this region. This is our part.
Mr. Vinik, I'm Craig Latimer, Hillsborough County Supervisor of Election. I'm often asked by people, what can we do to increase voter turnout at our elections? And my response is to have great candidates. Do you have any desire to run for political office?
Didn't my last answer my question?
I took the wind out of my question.
Sorry, we have time for two more questions. I got Ms. Acosta here, and I have a gentleman up front.
Hi, Mr. Vinik. Thank you for making your pledge to include wellness as a driving factor in your development. And as many people have alluded, we are looking forward to the walk, bike, and streetcar improvements that you've got planned for your area. Can you address if you are engaging, or what your team is doing and how we can help your team with connectivity for walk, bike, maybe streetcar to the other established neighborhoods, because it's not walkable right now. to get from Tampa General, well, it's walkable, it's not bikeable from Tampa General to the new medical center, so.
But it is water taxiable. It is water taxiable. So clearly there'll be quite a bit, you know, so much we didn't talk about today, but quite a bit of more traffic on the river, et cetera, for moving people around. You're right. I mean, we talked about that when we were working on our master plan, that we don't want to have bike trails to nowhere. It doesn't accomplish anything. So whether we're going to the east to the port, direct connections. Jeff Speck actually was talking about walking across the Zeal Bridge or something like that and fearing for his life. That isn't connectivity. So within our district, it's certainly something we can have an effect on and work on. But beyond that, we want to be involved in the conversation. And you know, it's part of the mayor's plan where the Hillsborough River is the center of downtown. The park, Riverside, is it, park on the west side, et cetera. You know, going to be putting money, that's going to be a beautiful facility. So making it all more bikeable and walkable certainly will be important.
Larry Corman. I lived in Dallas for a few years, and they had the same problem where that every time a ballot measure came up for mass transit, it was voted down. And it was really the business community, the business leaders that finally turned that around. If my memory serves, they actually offered to front the money for the first line, which turned out to be not practical, but it got a lot of people's attention about how serious this was an issue for Dallas. And it really changed things at that time. And so my question really is, as the next set of plans are developed for transportation here, in your free time, would you be interested, as probably, arguably the most recognizable and probably most best liked business leader in Tampa at the moment, would you be interested in organizing, leading a group of businessmen to help support that and show them that?
Maybe. We're mentioning that as we speak.
All right, everybody. Well, let's give Mr. Vinik a huge round of applause. Thank you, everybody. It's been a fun meeting. It's been a great meeting. All right, with that, we are done. I thank everybody for coming out. I do want to announce our